Alright, phone's engaged, Pop-Tart butt facing my face, talking in the car. Welcome to the Unwashed Asses, episode 46, recorded March 8th, 2018. Thursday! Another Thursday episode. I think, I always hate to say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to record like this now, and then it doesn't fucking happen. But I'm digging the Thursday recordings. So I think no matter what here, going forward, we're going to do these. Whether or not I can squeeze in another episode during the week, if I could stay awake past 9 o'clock on Mondays and start recording the actual show again. Have a nice little follow-up on Thursdays. I dig it. I'm liking the feel of it. That being said here, so I know some of you have younger teenagers, children that might listen to the show. Not sure how I feel about that, but you do what you do. This is not the episode for them to listen to. Shit's gonna get real dirty real fucking fast. But that being said as well, I want to say thank you to all the patrons out there over at patreon.com/0and09, keeping the show running. And all I ask, pitch in $1 a month, helps things keep things going, shows a little support, boosts my spirits, raises them high up. And if you can't do $1 a month, tell a friend, get the news out, get the word out, let folks know what's going on here, and get them in on the party. All right, that being said, fuck winter in its frosty asshole. We got a nice taste of spring last week, and we were up in the 50s. Now, what's the dash say here? 23 degrees. 23 goddamn frigid degrees out. And if I check my weather app, like I did this morning, it's going to say, oh yeah, it's 23, but it feels like 10. Now, I like winter. Winter's probably my third favorite season. It goes fall, spring, winter. But I only like winter when we got the pretty snow falling. And it's a white winter wonderland everywhere. And, you got the warm orange glow of lights and essentially like Christmas type vibes. But when it's just frozen, hard earth with a chilly fucking wind blowing in, that's when I'm starting to draw the line. Okay, winter, you can, knock this shit off. Let us go. But it always happens where we get a nice heavy dose of spring for about a week and a half. And then winter rolls back in for one more last hurrah, and then we could start really warming up. That being said, I'm not looking forward to summer, but I still have the entire spring to get through where, trees start budding and you get a ton of flowers. Like, there's this Japanese garden in Rockford that I like to go to now. I'm going to head down there and feed some ducks, hopefully not get bit again. Enjoy the season. Until then, though, I do not like having to layer up in a full set of thermals. And I feel like a sneaky rogue, like I gotta put on my armor to go out. I travel light, though. I don't wear a heavy coat. I got a jacket, but I got a second layer of thermals on. And my knife in my pocket. I'm not getting tired of this. I want to be able to open up the windows, and where my desk is situated now, there's a draft coming through the patio door, and I don't want to have to buy that Visqueen and take a hair dryer and trap off the balcony essentially, because I know we're close, we're so close. Just let it happen. Oh man. So this week we had an interesting job where depending on what town and what neighborhood you go to, you'll have to deal with Spanish-speaking customers. And English is just a distant afterthought to them. I think I've voiced it before that if you're going to a country, at least make the effort to learn the language. You don't have to be fluent in it, but at least be able to talk kind of like a toddler. Kind of like me in German right now. Which, by the way, up to 49%. Almost going to get that goal for 2018, 50% fluency. But anywho, if you're not making the effort to learn the native language and you're forcing the natives to learn your language to communicate, you're a dick. Well, we had a customer this past week where, I won't say the name, but the name was distinctly Japanese. Like, oh, well, that's new. I've not seen anything like this, you know. Not to be like a dumb American, but like, oh, you know, let's go see what's going on here. And I had another guy with me, a coworker, and we pull up to the house, and I'm immediately yelling at him like, don't be a fucking weeaboo, don't start spouting off what you've heard in anime. We have to stay professional. If you can't abide by this, I will gut you in the front yard and just leave you for dead. Point made. We're ready to go into the house. Customer answers the door, and it's like, you can immediately tell, like, that same language barrier disconnect I get with my Spanish speaking customers, getting it right away with this Japanese fella, because it's not like he just somehow has a Japanese name and is of descent. No, he's like straight off the fucking boat. Why are you in the middle of Wisconsin Japanese? Like, you can barely speak basic English. Like, he's saying phrases, they're kind of queued up at the right time, but you have that sense there's a disconnect. He's just saying what he thinks he needs to say. Everybody's talking kind of louder and slower in hopes that, I hope the other person knows what I'm saying, just so we can get the fuck out of here, type of deal. And immediately he gestures to my boots, like, to take them off. He's got a pair of slippers right next to the door. Like, okay, this is how this is going to go. We're full on traditional Japanese. However, hang now. It's hurting. OSHA mandates, you got to keep the boots on. Cannot take them off. So, like, I've got boot covers. It's okay. Oh, okay.
Hello.
Turn off notifications here so you guys don't hear that shit anymore. So go in. We're just setting up internet and Wi-Fi. Pretty straightforward. The house is wired just beautifully. There's, like, you couldn't ask for a better setup. Everything is pretty much done. Only had to disconnect a couple lines. And tell the customer, okay, well, you know, the wiring looks good. We're going to go grab your equipment and check outside real quick. We'll be right back. Okay. So as I'm walking outside to the backyard to check house box and pedestal, I turn to my coworker, like, I don't know how this works. You know, when we're done, do I shake his hand? Do I bow? I mean, is it more offensive to do one or the other? I don't know what to do here. And he offered no real input on the matter. We were mostly just trying to figure out why is a full-blown Japanese guy in the middle of Wisconsin? Is he? I couldn't begin to wrap my head around it. I mean, you'd think it'd be like a work-related opportunity, but it's like he's moving into a house. And there's not, I mean, to my knowledge, there's not a lot of, like, international business in this part of the state. You'd have to travel an hour in really any direction to get to a point where, okay, you're getting into larger markets. So as we're puzzling that, I remember, you know, it's typically protocol to, once you have the wireless set up, you have to go over it with the customer. Like, oh, here's your network name, here's the password, and we'll go ahead and get a device connected for you. However, with the language barrier, much like with my Spanish-speaking customers, it's kind of complicated to explain that. And like with Spanish-speaking, mi español es muy mal. I'm not very good with Spanish, but I can kind of communicate the basics to them. And failing that, I have a translator app on my phone, so I'll just type up what I need to say, hold it up, let them read, and just have it phrased kind of as like yes/no questions, so they can give me, you know, like the old Roman, thumbs up or thumbs down, and I can work through that. But I don't want to try this with Japanese because this is just too big of a hurdle. So I tell my coworker, you know what? We're going to get the wireless information set up. I'm just going to tell him, here's your network name, here's your password, there you go. He's like, oh yeah, no, he's Japanese, he'll figure it out. Racist. He immediately starts to backpedal, like, oh, you know, I'm joking. I'm sure he was, but still, very well played. Well played, baby bird. And so we go back in, we get the wireless all set up. The entire time, the customer's just hovering behind us. You know, he's talking on his phone. He's got it on speaker, and it's you know, all in Japanese. I don't know what he's saying. I'm not hearing the phrase gaijin, so I think we're in the clear. But afterwards, like, oh, here's your your information, network password, and he's like, oh, password. Okay, good, done, out. Hopefully it doesn't repeat. I don't think it will. Typically the ones with the language barriers don't call back in because of that, the language barrier. The only time I've had like a weird trouble call in regards to that was after a box had been reset, we had to put the time back on the front display, and just trying to figure that out. Like I ended up having to call our translator hotline, and that was weird, but I don't expect anything of this one. Just, it was so out of place. You know, it's refreshing to get an experience with another culture, and I feel like an ass saying this because it's like, oh, we got a token Japanese guy now. I've traveled out of the country. I like to, experience new things and whatnot, but it just feels like, okay, we got the oddity that's come to the backwoods now, and everybody go point and, stare and look. Now, yesterday, I had a moment of shame. I debated telling this story or not, because it's fucked up. There's no two ways about it. So if you want to, just duck out now, I don't blame you. But it was, the entire way the situation played out, it's too bizarre and funny not to share. So my sex drive's taken a bit of a hit lately. Not as amorous as I have been in the past. I think a lot of it is, I'm not in shape, so my testosterone levels are low, and not very physical, like aside from what I do at work. And when I come home, it's just mostly been Warcraft. Like I'm devolving into teenage Christian. Well, no, teenage Christian got quite a bit of play. As your stereotypical neck beard, where I try to, I bathe, I'm clean cut and all that, but I go to work, I come home, and all I want to do is drink sugary drinks and play World of Warcraft. Which, by the way, boom, fucking got flying and my Void Elf. Done. Happy as a fucking pig in shit. But pigs don't like shit, do they? They prefer cleanliness. They shit in one corner of their pen. They like the mud, though. Anywho, I digress. So yeah, I rolled my Void Elf Mage, and like, so the lady buys me the Battle for Azeroth expansion, and like, immediately like, okay, let's go make a Void Elf, and it's like, you must unlock an achievement to play as this custom. Like, pretty sure I've already done this, but maybe there's something else I gotta do. Log back into the Pally, and sure enough, there's a quest that pops up. It's like, oh, hey, champion, come talk to Manduin over in Stormwind. We gotta talk about allied races, and head over to the Diplomats Hall. I'm like, okay, well, anytime you have to talk to a member of the royal family, head over to Stormwind Keep. Head to the castle. Go to the castle. Not there. Like, okay. One time I'm not actually, like tracking stuff via the quests or the maps. Like, we typically head here to talk to the king and do kingly type shit. Open up the map. There's this new location by the graveyard. Head over there. There's a shitty little shack where the king, all the leaders of the alliance are sitting in there just kind of hanging out. And then we have Terralion and Illyria. They're like, well, we need to recruit the glowy space goats and then the dark blood owls, the void owls. What should we do first? And I'm like, fuck you, Terralion. I don't like your attitude, and I don't like your space goats. Hey, Illyria. How about we go get some of them evil blood elves? Well, evil-er, but they're on the good side now. I'm confused, but I want another purple elf. So I have to go do a quest, like, oh, hey, we got some void elves out in the middle of space that have been corrupted by the void. There's like 20 of them, but now, they'll join the alliance, and now there's like 100 fucking void elves running around. So I rolled my mage. I'd been wanting to play a mage for a long time, and void elves get this nice passive buff to spell casting. Like, okay, check a couple boxes, fun new race, class I've been itching to play, and then I get to experience this revamped leveling experience where everything's scaled. I'm enjoying it. So after you create your character, they're like, okay, well, go to the call to arms board, where it's essentially, here's what you can do at your level, and like, oh, right away I can head on over to Duskwood and Darkshire and deal with that. And so when did that happen? Monday got the expansion. Thursday now, because they start you at level 20, jump from 20 to 33. I hit 33 this morning, just going through and questing, and it's nice because I'm not out leveling the zone right away. Like, I can stay there until I'm 60 if I want, and I'm just queuing up for dungeons. It takes about 10 minutes per queue to run it, but just it's fun, It's like my little zen thing, just run around, do quests, and the cast time on mages, I'm still trying to get used to it. Like, it takes so long to do anything, especially in dungeons where if everybody's single targeting one enemy, I can get through maybe 1.5 rotations. It's weird. But so anywho, yeah, Sexturi's been on a steep decline. So I've been trying to mitigate that by, let's just be blunt here, jerk it off more often than I had been. Like, once a day, just kind of get things back on track. And so usually shower time in the mornings when that gets done. Welcome to me being far too intimate with you. But no, shower makes sense. I think everybody knows that you jerk off in the shower, whether you're a lady, you're a guy, whether you're choking the chicken or you're playing DJ Diddles. You do it in the shower because the water acts as a nice lube, and then it's an immediate cleanup. You don't have to worry about the mess. So I'm in there, I'm doing my thing, I'm getting a little crazy with it. Like, I got my leg propped up on the edge of the tub and rubbing my butthole and like really getting into it, having a good time. And then as things typically progress with a nice jerk off session in the shower, ejaculate, come, just orgasm, it's so good. And open my eyes and look in horror as I realized my son had left a couple of toys in the shower, namely Thomas the Tank Engine and a red Hot Wheels car. And as I'm sure you figured out at this point, due to the angles, I managed to give Thomas the Tank Engine a full fucking facial. I faced him in such a way that just dumped my entire load all over this tiny Thomas the Tank Engine toy. The Hot Wheels car, which was sitting right next to it, totally fine, emerged unscathed. But I'm sitting there looking at Thomas with just this shame as my cum runs down his face. It's just cum. I could wash it off, but then every time my son goes to play with this Thomas the Tank Engine, I realize I just jizzed all over his toy. We gotta throw it away. There's no two ways about it. So I wash them off, throw them in the garbage, and the bathroom garbage doesn't get emptied all that often because there's not much garbage that goes into it. So every time I've gone into the bathroom, I see Thomas the Tank Engine looking up at me with these shamed eyes from the garbage can in the bathroom, like, what did you do to me? Oh my god. It was awful. So I've got I fucked up because I'm picking up my son after work today, so I won't have time to go home and empty out that garbage. So if he goes in there and sees like Thomas sitting in the garbage can, I gotta figure out some lie to tell him like why I had to throw away his toy, because it'll be a good story to tell in like 20 years. When he's off on his own, and like, oh hey, you remember that Thomas the Tank Engine when you were 4? And why he was in the garbage? And I totally jerked off and came all over him. Oh God, I am such a terrible human being. Oh. So now you know that about me. Oh man. Alright, so we got 20 minutes now. We got one more story in me. So let me tell you all about the time I got hoodwinked into dating somebody against my will. So I'm 19. Recently done with the college experience. Did my 2 years, and then was hanging out with my friends a lot, as you do. You've graduated high school, you've done, you're going to college, or you're wrapped up with college, and you're working now. You're doing the early 20s thing of like, oh, I've got disposable income. I'm rooming up with somebody. We've got a place together. Just overall having a fun time. At this point, I'm living with my sister, her boyfriend, and I. We all got a place together, and hanging out with my best friend at the time, and he's playing semi-pro soccer, like arena soccer. So going up to his games, they're like an hour, 15 minutes away, something like that. Just driving. I've got nothing to do. As long as I'm at work by 9 o'clock the next day, fuck it. My days are my own. I'll stay out until 2 a.m. and just have a good time. And so he had been hitting on this girl that worked at the local Subway near his work. And it was funny because I was telling somebody else this story last night, and I couldn't remember her name for the life of me. And he's like, you're just a terrible human being. That's awful. I'm like, I know. I think I remember what her name is. I'm not going to say it here, but it's still like, it feels like I'm pretty sure that's what her name was, but it was so far in the past, it still feels wrong. Like, no, that's not right, but I'm pretty sure that's what her name was. So we'll call her Kay. And so he invites Kay to a soccer game, and I'm up there with him and watching, and she and I are chit-chatting, and it's like, okay, clearly they're trying to hook up. I'm still like, I'm getting distracted trying to think of what her name was, but I'm pretty sure I got it picked out. Anywho, so he gets done playing, and it's like, oh, we're standing out the parking lot talking, and then, subtly hinting at a menage a trois, which doesn't pan out, but it's like, okay, like, he and I are getting to, like, we're best friends, but you gotta really bridge, like, you gotta build a long, strong bridge of friendship if you're gonna start banging chicks together. And we never got to that point, thankfully, because I don't know how to process that. Like, okay, you're my best friend, but I don't necessarily want to see you naked, and I don't like sharing. But so he was still living with his folks at the time, and it was a matter of, okay, well, I'll drive you back to your parents' place, drop you off, and then I can give her a ride home. That way it gives you guys a little more time together. So I'm playing chauffeur while they're making out in the back seat. And everybody's having a good time, except me. I'm just like, I'm focused on the road and trying to, ignore what's going on in my back seat. Like, just don't leave any stains, guys. So go ahead and get him dropped off, and we're on our way back to her place, which is like half hour away. So get over to her place, and we have been getting chummy and chatty, and me being just the absolute shit stain of a human I am, I'm like, oh, she's kind of cute. She's curvy, a little curvier than what I'm used to, but shit, I'm down. So I start making the moves, and she starts reciprocating. And she starts like, oh, well, this isn't right because I'm into your friend. And I'm like, fuck it, you're not dating, are you? no. Well, then what's the problem? There's no exclusivity here. So like, okay, and so we fucked. Like, met this girl and then immediately proceed to fucking. And she felt guilty about it, and you know, she told him, and I told him. He's like, it's okay. I kind of figured that's what was gonna happen, so no biggie. Like, yeah, that's why you're my best friend. So we were casually, you know, hanging out, fucking, going to Denny's at 2 in the morning, because that's what you do when you're 19, 20. And she was a little unhinged. I had a thing for, you know, broken individuals, you know, folks that didn't quite have their shit together, were a little bit crazy, because generally they had an aesthetic about them that I was drawn to. I dug how they looked. I dug how they fucked. That's all I was after. I was down for, you know, looking good and fucking. So that's all I was really using her for. I had no real intentions of getting into a serious relationship. But as what happens when you typically date those, a little on, you know, you got the hot to crazy ratio. When they start dipping into that crazy side of the ratio, oh no, she wanted a relationship. And not that it's crazy to want a relationship, but her mental state was not one that would produce a healthy relationship. So, got distracted thinking of the name again. So it was strictly like not even like a friends with benefits thing, because she did some very questionable things, like when she got drunk. So, well, I mean, so like one of the first times I go to hang out at her place, she's having a house party, immediately gets shit-faced and starts flashing everybody. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not down with that. I'm gonna go ahead, just lace up my shoes and skedaddle. And she goes, hey, what happened to you? And I explain. She's like, oh. Like, well, what do you think's gonna happen? But so we had been seeing one another for a few weeks, and her and her roommate then get into a car accident, a pretty severe one. They roll their car a few times, have to get rushed to the ER. She's in the hospital, and I get the call. It's like, oh, hey, you know, I'll come visit you, you know, bring you flowers, do the good friend thing, because that's all I was at that point, you know, just a friend. So, head on up, walk in the room. She's laying there in the bed and surrounded by friends and family. You know, her parents are there, and a lot of friends that I've not met yet. And she's like, oh, hey, everybody, this is Christian, my boyfriend. This is typically the part during like the sitcom where you hear the record scratch and it goes freeze frame. It's like Morgan Freeman does the voiceover. It was at that moment that Christian realized he was in serious shit. Andy Dufresne climbed through 2 miles of shit and came out clean on the other side. Morgan Freeman. So, like, oh, yeah, totally Kay's boyfriend. Yep, that's me. We've been dating. We're going steady. Exclusive. Her boyfriend. And, like, shit. Fuck. So everybody, you know, as the night wears on, everybody's leaving. And again, I don't have anything to do. You know, my time is my own at this point. So I'm sticking around, just like, hey, sorry I dropped that on you, but I figured, you know, since we were like, oh yeah, no, totally fine. Sure, I'll be your boyfriend. Whatever. I don't care. So I immediately then began planning my escape plan, like, oh shit, this bitch has gotten into an accident, she's all kinds of fucked up and needs support right now. It'd be super shitty for me to break up with her at this moment, but let's go ahead, pretend things are fine, drag it out for a while, and then break up with her. And long story short, that's exactly what I did. During the escape planning phase, I met somebody else. Kay came over to my place, you know, we got it on, and then I proceeded to break up with her afterwards. Like, what the hell? I thought everything was fine. We just had sex. I felt so safe and secure with you, and like, I'm just not ready for a relationship, I say, lying through my teeth. Oh, God. So, when I say I'm a horrible human being, it's because of actions like this. Things I've done in the past where I knowingly hurt other people just to, either A, bring pleasure or make my life easier. I did a lot of stuff like this in the past, but this is the one time it really bit me in the ass. Like, okay, my best friend's really into this chick. I'm going to fuck her the same night I meet her. And then surprise boyfriend, like, yeah, no. So I got taught a lesson. I mean, you'd think, though, like, oh, that's what people normally do. They meet one another, they like one another, and yeah, of course you'll start dating. But again, little unhinged. I don't like dating the unhinged. I like fucking them, but I don't like dating them. I think a lot of you can relate. Like, oh yeah, a little crazy, usually pretty good in the bed. Yeah. So, oofda. There's 30 minutes burned up. So, that's gonna wrap things up right now. I'm about to pull into work anyway. So, yeah, we'll be back next Thursday at least. I'm still trying to figure out if I can. It's not a matter of squeezing in. I just got to stay awake for the Monday night shows, and then we'll, get this back on track, boost the count up, and give you some high quality listening entertainment. But if you like stories like these, let me know. I have a shitload of them. I don't mind sharing. I was really nervous about doing these two. Because it's not that they paint me in a bad light, but it's embarrassing to open up about shit like this. And I don't know why, because, it is what it is. I am who I am. I've done what I've done. There's no reason, why I shouldn't own up to it. But if you liked, we got two very different shows. So the one before, very topical about gun control, stuff like that, and then this one's like, yeah, I'm jerking off onto my kids' toys in the shower. Let me know what you guys prefer. Drop a line over at theunwashedasses@gmail.com. Again, that's theunwashedasses@gmail.com. And a big shout out to everybody who supports the show over at patreon.com/0and09. You can catch the show at your favorite podcast thing, and then of course I put archives up on YouTube as well. We will see you next week.